Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Target 100 in Mathematics by Shivesh Kumar Singh, and in this video we are going to learn about operations on complex numbers. Operations means the basic calculations, okay? So first I'll tell you about addition or subtraction of complex numbers, okay? Like simple algebraic expression we do, same thing we are going to follow here also. If Z1 is equal to A1 plus IB1 and Z2 is equal to A2 plus IB2. Be any two complex numbers. Okay, I'll try to complete all the things in one go. So I'll remove this thing. Okay, I'll take these two complex numbers for all the calculations. So Z1 is equal to A1 plus IB1 and Z2 is equal to A2 plus IB2. Then first part, addition Z1 plus Z2. What it will be? It will be A1 plus IB1 plus A2 plus IB2. Yes, and what we do in addition or subtraction, we always add and subtract the like terms. So it will be A1 plus A2 times, plus I times B1 plus B2, means real part will be added with the real part and imaginary part will be added with the imaginary part. But logic is simple, that in addition we always add the like terms. So term of I will be added with term of I and terms without I will be added together. Okay, similarly if you have to subtract it, so Z1 minus Z2 is equal to, it will be A1 plus IB1, since we are dealing with the negative number, so better you write in the bracket. So it will be A2 plus IB2 and it will be equal to A1 minus A2 plus I times B1 minus B2. So what we have learned, in addition or subtraction of two complex numbers, we always add or subtract the corresponding parts. Means real part will be added or subtracted with the real part and imaginary part will be added or subtracted with the imaginary part. Okay. For example, suppose we want to solve 2 plus 3i and then plus 5 minus 7i. Okay, so it is just a simple algebraic calculation I told you. See, 2 plus 3i, and since it is a plus in between, so no need to change the sign, minus 7i. Now 2 and 5, they are the like terms, so plus 2 and plus 5 is plus 7. Now plus 3i and minus 7i will be equal to minus 4i. So this will be the answer. Similarly, if you have to subtract two complex numbers like 4 minus 2i minus 1 minus 5i. So what it will be? It will be 4 minus 2i, and since we have negative sign in between, so all the sign after this negative will be changed in the bracket. So it will be plus 1 and plus 5i. Okay, so this is, now 4 and 1 are the like terms, means 5, minus 2i and plus 5i are the like terms, so plus 3i. This will be the answer. Okay, I am sure you are done with this addition and subtraction. It is very easy. Now we are going to talk about multiplication of two complex numbers. Okay, like if Z1 is equal to A1 plus IB1 and Z2 is equal to A2 plus IB2 are the two complex numbers, then Z1 multiplies Z2 will be equal to what? A1 plus IB1 times A2 plus IB2. Okay. Now, as we do multiplication of two simple brackets in algebraic expression, same thing we have to follow here. Okay. So, A1 will be multiplied with A2. So, it will be A1 and A2 plus A1 will be multiplied with IB2. So, it will be I times A1 B2. Now, plus IB1 will be multiplied with A2. So, it will be IB1 times A2, and last IB1 will be multiplied with IB2. So, it will be I square B1 and B2. Now, what is the value of I square? I square, if you remember, I square is equal to minus 1. Okay, if you have any confusion for this, please see my that video where I explained about the basics of the complex number. Okay, so if you write here, okay, I'll write one more line, A1, A2 plus, from these two terms you see we can take I common. So it will be a1 b2 plus a2 b1 minus, because I square is minus 1, so it will be b1 b2. Now you can see these are the two terms without I, so just write them together. A1 a2 minus b1 b2 plus I times a1 b2 plus a2 b1. Okay, see my dear students, don't mug up this as a formula. Okay, just try to understand the process how to multiply two complex numbers. Okay, it will be very beneficial for you. For example, suppose we want to multiply 2 minus 3i times minus 3 plus 5i. Okay, we want to multiply this. So what we can do here, 2 multiply minus 3 plus 2 multiply 5i minus 3i multiply minus 3 minus 3i multiply by 5i. Simple calculations. Now 2 multiply minus 3 is minus 6 plus 2 multiply 5i means 10i, minus times minus will become plus, it will be 9i, and minus 3 times 5 15, I times I means I square. So what it will be? It will be minus 6, 10i plus 9i, it will be 19i. Okay, and then minus I square value is minus 1, so it will become plus 15. Now 15 minus 6 is 9 plus 19i. This will be the final answer. Like this you can multiply two complex numbers. Okay, I am sure you understood this thing. Now another thing important, very important thing is conjugate of a complex number. Conjugate of a complex number. Now what is this conjugate? It's very easy for you. If z is equal to a plus ib be any complex number, then its conjugate, it will be given by, it's very easy definition, its conjugate will be z bar is equal to a minus ib. Means simply in place of I you have to write minus I. Okay, means you can say I will be replaced with minus I, and that will be the conjugate. Okay, for example, you see conjugate of, or I can say like this, if z is equal to minus 1 plus I, then z bar will be equal to minus 1 minus I. Okay, just replace I with minus I. Now similarly, if you have z is equal to 4i, then what will be z bar? Z bar will be equal to minus 4i. Okay, if you have z is equal to minus 3, then what will be z bar? Plus 3. Yes? Did you say yes? No, this is wrong, and this is the that common mistake what students do in the exam also. See, I told you that conjugate means replace I with minus I, but here is in this complex number you see we don't have I. So if there is no I, then there is no question of the replacement. So it will be the same number, no change. Okay, so conjugate of a real number is completely a same real number. Now there are some properties of the complex numbers, conjugate of a complex number. First property is z1 plus minus z2 whole bar. Means if you are conjugating addition or subtraction of two complex numbers, then it will be z1 bar plus minus z2 bar, means they will be conjugated separately. Okay, we will deal with the questions also based on these properties. Z1 times z2 whole bar is equal to z1 bar times z2 bar. Same for the division also. Okay, I am not writing that separately. Another one is z bar whole bar, means conjugate of the conjugate will be the number itself. Okay, for example, if you see z is equal to 2 minus 3i, then what will be z bar? Z bar will be 2 plus 3i, and if you take conjugate of this number again, so z bar whole bar, it will be equal to what? 2 minus 3i again, which is equal to z. Okay, so these are the properties of conjugate of a complex number. So what you learned about conjugate? Conjugate means simply replace I with minus I in the given complex number, and then you will get the conjugate of the complex number. Okay, I am sure you have understood this thing. Now the last thing for today's topic is, that is multiplicative inverse. Okay, what is the meaning of multiplicative inverse? See, this you know already, this thing, multiplicative inverse. Everything is telling, describing itself. Multiplicative means something related with the multiplication. Inverse means reciprocal. So, if I ask one question that what will be the multiplicative inverse of 7, then you will say 1 over 7. Yes. Why? Because if you will multiply 7 with its multiplicative inverse, you must get 1. Okay. Why 7? Multiplicative inverse of 7 is not 1 over 5? Because if you will multiply them, then you will not get 1. Okay. So 1 upon 5 is not the multiplicative inverse of 7. So it is just a reciprocal only. Similarly, it is the extra information for you. If I ask you what is the additive inverse of 7, then you will say additive inverse of 7 is minus 7, because if you will add them, then you will get additive identity, that is 0. Okay. So let's focus on the multiplicative inverse only. So what is the meaning of multiplicative inverse? Multiplicative inverse of a number is a number that we multiply both numbers, then we must get multiplicative identity, that is 1. So multiplicative inverse of A will be equal to A inverse, provided A is not equal to 0. This is quite obvious because 1 upon 0 is undefined. Yes. Now same goes for the Z also. So if Z is equal to A plus IB be any complex number, then Z inverse, that's multiplicative inverse means Z inverse, is equal to 1 over Z. Okay, 1 over Z means 1 over A plus IB. Now, as I have told you just now, that in complex number, in denominator, we don't want to see I. So if you are getting I, then you will try to remove it. So by how you will remove this? By multiplying numerator and denominator by the conjugate of denominator. So what you will get here? Numerator is 1. Sorry, 1 multiply A minus IB is A minus IB over denominator A plus IB times A minus IB. Don't you think that it is in the form of an identity? What is that identity? A square minus B square is equal to A minus B times A plus B. So it will be equal to A square minus I square B square. Now what is the value of I square? It is equal to minus 1. So it will be plus 1 B square. Write real part and imaginary part separate. So it will be A upon A square plus B square minus I times B upon A square plus B square. Like this you can solve the questions for multiplicative inverse. Okay, this is the complete process. Don't apply this as a direct formula in your main examination. It is okay for the competitive examinations where you have multiple choice questions. It's okay, you can apply it as a formula also. Okay, for example, suppose we want to solve the question, find multiplicative inverse of say 3 minus I. Okay, so what it will be? Z inverse will be equal to 1 over Z, means 1 over 3 minus I, means it is equal to what? Multiply by its conjugate, that is 3 plus I in numerator and denominator both. So it will be equal to 3 plus I times 1 is 3 plus I over, it will be A square minus B square, means 3 plus I over 9. Why I have written 9 square? No, it is 9. Okay, 3 square. So I must write 3 square here, and then here it should be 9. I square is minus 1, so plus 1. So it is 3 over 10 plus I times 1 over 10. This will be the multiplicative inverse. Like this you can solve these easy questions for complex numbers. Okay, I am sure you have understood all the questions and concepts, and if you think that such videos will help you to increase your knowledge, please like and subscribe my channel and share with your friends also. Thank you.